Most military members think the biggest financial mistake is not investing enough money. It's not. The biggest mistake is building a life that becomes too expensive to escape, and by the time many people realize it, they're 18 years in, burnt out, deep in debt, and trapped by obligations they can no longer comfortably carry. But the people who win quietly financially in the military, they eventually make one decision that changes everything. And the painful part, most people discover it far too late. Greetings and salutations. This is the Adjutant. And today I want to talk to you about what may honestly be the most important financial move military members eventually learn, but usually learn too late. Now, this conversation is not about money. It's about freedom. It's about stress. It's about peace. It's about whether your future belongs to you and whether your future has already been sold away through obligations. And I need you to really hear me today, because what I'm about to discuss, I have watched happen for decades. Not once, not twice, but thousands of times I've watched military members make good money, steady money, guaranteed money, and still end up financially exhausted. And what makes it difficult is that many of them did everything they thought they were supposed to do. They bought a house, they bought vehicles, upgraded lifestyles, every promotion, increased spending, every pay raise, started financing comfort, started financing image, started financing stress relief. And little by little, they accidentally built financial prisons. Not freedom, prisons. Now, when people are young, they don't feel immediately because youth can temporarily outrun bad financial structure. You can survive chaos in your 20s. You can actually survive mistakes in your 30s, but eventually life starts collecting invoices. And military life especially has a way of exposing weak financial structure over time. You have deployments, PCS moves, divorce, medical problems, children, aging parents, burnout, retirement uncertainty, inflation, tax increases, unexpected emergencies. Eventually, pressure arrives. And when pressure arrives, your financial structure gets exposed. Not your income, your structure. That's the part most people miss. You know something interesting? Over the years, I've noticed something about truly peaceful military retirees. Not flashy retirees, not loud retirees, not social media retirees, peaceful retirees. The people who actually seem calm, stable, and emotionally free almost always made the same financial shift somewhere along the way. They stopped trying to look successful and started trying to become difficult to financially destroy. That is a completely different mindset. And honestly, that mindset changes everything. Because real wealth is not what people think it is. Real wealth is not always visible. Sometimes real wealth looks ordinary. Sometimes real wealth looks low stress, paid off obligation, emergency reserves, flexibility, options, mobility, controlled expenses, reduced dependence, time ownership. Now that's wealth, not the illusion, the reality. And many military members unfortunately spend years chasing this illusion. Let me explain something that nobody tells younger service members. Every recurring bill you create actually becomes future labor. Every finance lifestyle choice becomes future obligation. Every unnecessary payment claims a piece of your future and freedom. And eventually, your paycheck stops feeling like income. It starts feeling already assigned before you even receive it. That is one of the most psychologically exhausting feelings in adult life. Now, here's a financial move that changes everything. The greatest financial move military members eventually make is reducing the amount of life they are forced to financially carry. That's it. Simple, but profound. Reducing dependency, reducing fixed obligations, reducing lifestyle pressure, reducing financial fragility, creating margin, creating breathing room, creating survivability. That shift changes lives. And unfortunately, many people do not discover this until exhaustion forces them to. Sometimes after a divorce, sometimes after medical scares, sometimes after burnout, sometimes after retirement panic, sometimes after realizing they cannot afford the life they built. One active duty income disappears, it's gone. That realization can be emotionally devastating because retirement does something psychologically powerful. Okay? It exposes whether your lifestyle was sustainable or subsidized by constant sacrifice. That's why some retirees look peaceful and others look terrified. Not because one was smarter, but because one reduced obligations before the pressure arrived. Now, let me say something important. This is not anti-success. This is not anti-house. This is not anti-enjoyment. I'm not telling people to live like monks, okay? That's not reality. But what I am saying this, there is a difference between enjoying life and becoming owned by your expenses. And many people never learn the difference. You know what financially mature military members eventually begin valuing? Liquidity, time, peace, low stress, options. These are very important things, okay, folks? You want to have control and predictability, and eventually those things become more emotionally valuable than appearance. Now, that is wisdom, and wisdom usually arrives later than we wish it would. I've seen military members making six figures living paycheck to paycheck. I've seen retirees with far less income living peacefully because their structure was strong. Again, income matters, but structure matters more. A financially strong life is not built on how much you make. It is built on how little chaos your life requires to survive. That sentence alone can change someone's future. Now, let's talk specifically about military culture for a moment, okay? All right, let's talk about that. Military culture sometimes accidentally encourages financial overextension. Every rank increase creates pressure. Every promotion creates comparison. Every assignment creates status competition. People start comparing houses, vehicles, schools, neighborhoods, vacation, furniture, watches, appearance, and without realizing it, people start financially performing for each other. Now that is dangerous because financial performance is expensive and eventually exhausting. Now, one of the greatest moments financially is when you stop trying to impress people who are not paying your bills. That realization frees people emotionally and financially. You know what I wish more military members understood? Your future self is watching your decisions right now. The retired version of you is either being protected or being burdened. What you choose today decides how that actually will play out. Now, let me tell you something else. The military already gives you one of the greatest wealth building opportunities in America. That's stable income, that's health care, that's retirement system, TSP access, VA benefits, housing support, tax advantages, predictable promotions. The opportunity itself is not usually the problem. The problem is lifestyle inflation consuming the opportunity before it compounds. That's why some military members retire with peace, while others retire with anxiety despite decades of income. The difference often comes down to structure, not salary. Now, here's where maturity starts showing up financially. Mature people stop asking, how much can I afford? And start asking, how much freedom does this cost me? That question changes everything because freedom has value. Low obligations have value. Being able to walk away from stress has value. Being able to survive emergency has value. Being able to breathe has value. And many people do not appreciate those things until life becomes heavy. Now, one of the saddest financial realities is watching people reach retirement age while still financially overextended, still trapped by payments, still trapped by debts, still trapped by image maintenance, still trapped by lifestyles built decades earlier. This is emotionally exhausting to witness. And this is why I tell people, don't wait until retirement. Panic to simply simplify your life. Don't wait until burnout to create margin. Don't wait until crisis to reduce obligations. Start earlier. Start slowly. In the Swahili culture, they say pole pole. That's slowly, gradually. So pole pole, slowly. Even imperfectly, just start. You do not need overnight transformation. You need intentional direction. That is how sustainable wealth is built. And honestly, one of the most powerful feelings in life is realizing you need less to be happy than you once believed. That realization, folks, is freedom. Because eventually, many military members realize the truth. Peace is financial strategy, not just an emotion. Peace has structure behind it. And when your expenses are manageable, your stress decreases. Your options increase. Your confidence improves. Your retirement becomes safer. Your relationships improve. Your emotional health improves. Everything changes. Now, maybe somebody watching this today is still early in their career. That's good. Learn this now, not 20 years from now. And maybe somebody else watching this already feels financially trapped. Listen carefully, okay? Your situation may be difficult, but difficult does not mean permanent. You can rebuild structure. You can simplify. You can reduce pressure. You can recover. But recovery begins with honesty. And sometimes the strongest financial move is not making more money. Sometimes it's needing less pressure to survive. That is wisdom most people discover late. And I'll tell you something else. As you age, your definition of success changes. When you're younger, success looks loud. Later in life, success starts looking like it's calming down, stable, quiet, peaceful, unbothered, free. That is a different level of wealth. And honestly, I believe more military members would enjoy retirement if they spent less time building appearance and more time building freedom. So, if you take nothing else from this video, remember this. The best financial move military members eventually make is simplifying life enough that their future finally belongs to them again. Not the bank, not debt, not appearances, them. That shift changes everything, and if you learn it early, it can completely alter the trajectory of your life. And so there you have it. I hope this has been helpful. This is the Adjutant, and I'll see you in the next one. I wish you all blessings and blessings. Shalom.